we are going to grind the valves seats and rematch them. Over the years and over the time, these seats, they start getting worn out and they do not seal as good as they do when they're new. So we're gonna reseat them. They're gonna have new compression all over again. I'm gonna show you that process, and then I'm gonna time lapse it. And then also we're going to change the valve seals. And these things where these are the new, this is the old one that I took out one of them, and I'll show you how to take out the other ones. They're a little tricky to take out. This is the new one. These seats, these seals wear out over time, and look how soft this one is. The new one is soft and it does a good seal. And now the rubber on these, just like every other rubber, gets old and crusty and doesn't seal as well. So these usually cause failures, or for you, your car will start smoking, burning oil. This will bring it back to life. So let's get to work. First step is we're gonna flip it over. I took the valve springs out already on all the intakes so they could all move up and down. And we're gonna start with this one and move our way down. And then we have another head to do. So, and then there's a trick of the trade that I'm gonna show you to make this tedious job a little faster and easier. So you put some of, look at this, valve guide compound. What it is basically it's water. It's a water base, and it has sand in it. And the sand will cut its way into place. So I'm gonna do one right here. You put it into place, and then you take the valve tool. It's a little suction cup that goes on, and then you hear it grinding, and then you remove it and then set it again. Now that takes a really long time. I do it this way. Since these valves are not brand new, the suction cup does not stick so well. So as an added thing is I go from the back and I push it up, and if you see this way, so I'll put some pressure on it so not all pressure is on the valve, on the suction cup. So here we go. Now you hear it grinding and you hear it setting in. In the beginning it's really loud, and then it softens up. And then I'll push the valve back out, and I'll set it again, and it will cut all over again. So I do that process till the sound is distinctually softer. And then you know that it's set. And try to put the suction cup as center as possible, and this way you have less vibration. And you have to clean it well right after. We're gonna clean it right after. I'll clean all of them at the same time. So I'm going to do this one right next to it, just so we can demonstrate the sound difference between one that is freshly cutting, and the other one is being freshly cut, and one is, you hear that? And this is the one that's pretty much set in. You hear that shh? And this one's loud. You hear the difference? So we're gonna get this one to sound just like the other one. It's getting there. It's almost there. do something else. I'm gonna show you and compare one that was cut and one that was not cut with its neighboring. So now these valves worked fine. I already tested them. They weren't leaking. You had two that had a slight leak. So we're doing this more of a maintenance rather than a repair. So let's show you the difference, okay? So let's put this in front of the light. So you have this one is the new one, the one that was just cut, the one on the left, and the one right next to it is the one with 80,000 miles. So you could see how uniform and clean this one was cut, and how it's a little bit gritty, and now how polished this one is over time. And you can see there's a slight lip on it, and it's not so even all the way across. And now when you look at the seat itself, this is the new seat, one that was just matched to that, and you could see the color all uniform around it. You could see it all uniform all around it, no high spots. It fixed itself in place. Now you could see here that it's filled with grit and grime, and that gets, you know, gonna wipe it down even. And this is how it came. All right, and you could see some uneven bumps. I don't know if the camera's catching it. You can see some uneven spots. We're gonna cut this one over, and also you can see it gets get filled with carbon right there. That's what happens to them over time also. So we're gonna cut this one, we're gonna look at it again, and then I'm gonna elapse it and show you how I do everything. All of them, pretty much the same thing over and over. Look at that. Look at the difference. Look how smooth it is and clean it is. How uniform it is all the way around. And same thing with the valve. Okay, so now I'm going to remove the valve seals. Oop. So they're a little tricky. You got to take your time with them, and you don't want to hurt anything else in the engine. You don't want to leave any burrs or anything, so just gently massage it out. All right, got another one out. Nice and easy. Don't go crazy. Don't ruin the metal around it. How do we install the new ones? So, the way you install these, there's a little plastic piece here. And you put it on top of the valve. There's a little stopper. And then you put the valve inside of it. Oh, the seal you put inside of it. Let's do that again. You put the valve right there. All right, and now you slide it off the valve. And now you put the valve that belongs here inside. And now you slide. Can you see that? You slide it in there, and then you release it. The valve, actually, you want to keep the valve in there. It keeps it it keeps it straight like a pilot, and you slide it on until it clips into place. Now it's all the way in. Sometimes on some of these I'll use a socket and gently push it in, and let's see what socket fits. Alright, so I'm using an 11mm deep socket. Yes, there we go. And now we take out it's like a tool now. We're using this. I'm going to slide it on over here. I'm sorry. You slide it on the valve, and then you slide it on. Slide it on. Leave it somewhere in the middle. Disconnect it. Put the valve back in. Make sure you're putting the valves in the same spots where it came from. Each valve has its own home. When you seat it, especially, it stays in that location. And it's like we just made a tool. I'm gonna push it straight down, and it's in. Take this out, put it on the next one. Put our seal over it. And do it again. Alright, slide it in all the way down. Take the tool that we just made, push it in. And repeat. All right, intake is done on this one. Now we're gonna put the valve springs back in, valve springs and retainers. Oh, by the way, don't lose this. Put it back into the bag. We're gonna use them for the exhaust side and the other half of the engine, the other head. Okay, so the next step, we're going to put the valve springs back in. And I set up the tool, and that's how we took it off before. And I'm gonna show you some things that need to be done first. First, all the valves are in place, all the seats are in. Something very important is I put cardboard underneath. Don't ever let aluminum head or any head sit on top of metal, because just by moving it around will scrape the bottom and it might lead to head gasket failure. So I put any type of cardboard will be like a protective and good insurance that it won't hurt. So now we're gonna put these valves and valve keepers in. If you notice, the keeper is at an angle. It's not completely straight, and when it sits in, the top part has to sit on the wider part sits on top, the thinner on the bottom. Let's get to work. All right, we'll start on this one. And the first thing I want to do is take some assembly lube and just put it right on the grooves. So whenever we install the keepers, they'll stay in place. It's gonna act like a temporary glue. And once the engine starts running and runs oil through the system, it's gonna come out. So next part is put the valve spring, the seat, set up your tool, and it's holding it down there. I take a screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, and I magnetize it first. I take a magnet, now it will hold it strong. I'm going to put the seat in. All right, one on one side, one on the other side. And now gently remove, and that's it. Let's move on to the next one. I already put the grease on that one. I'm going to put the seat. I'm going to put the spring, the retainer. I'm going to compress the spring with a tool all the way down. Let's give you this angle right here. Beautiful. So I purposely left these two middle ones for the last because these are the only two out of all the valves that were actually leaking. You can actually see the discoloration is a little bit different on this one, and it has a lot of carbon buildup. You could see all that carbon buildup, which the other ones didn't have. So this injector was probably running a little bit richer than the rest. Here, look at this. So I'm gonna clean them up after, because that's, you know, I do that anyways. But we're gonna reseat these, and you can look at the seat over here that has a lot of rough spots and little dirt spots, rusty spots, and that's here. Look, this has carbon right on the edge. That's probably why it was not even seating. So we're going to do the valve adjustment of a valve seating on these two, and we're gonna see the difference. Here, let's look over here. We see that it's polished over here, but up top here, it's so filled with dirt and grime. I mean, it doesn't even look like metal. It looks like there's just metal. There's just like a carbon buildup right there. So that's the point of where it was most probably leaking. So these are nasty. Classic, bougie, nasty. Ooh, can't wait to take a look at this one. He's so smooth. It's so smooth. I didn't clean the whole, I just did clean the bottom. You could take a look at that. Very nice. Very nice. This is gonna seal so much better. Let's do the next one. Put this back because we're gonna clean them all in a minute. I'm gonna do the same thing I did on this one. Yeah, see, if Carol Baskin was a valve, this would be the valve. Carol Baskin. And just like that, we're done rebuilding one of the heads. And we just gotta do it one more time to the other side. And this one's ready for install. As soon as we're finished with the short block, we can install this one. Nice and ready. It's gonna have fresh compression just like it used to have. All the valves are reseated, and no more oil leak from the valve seals. And tomorrow I'll do the next head. Have a good night. Hey guys, if you like the content of this video, please like and subscribe. Click the bell notification in YouTube, and this way you'll get notified every time I make a video. I'm trying to stick to at least one a week, hopefully 2 a week. Stay tuned for the rest of the build. Next video should be about some unboxing. I got some footage of parts that I started receiving and finishing this fake GT3 build. And thanks for watching. And again, don't forget, if you ain't got haters, you ain't popping. Hi, Anita.